Alright, back for another beer review, and today I'll be reviewing yet another beer from Brasserie Dieu du Ciel, and they're out of Montreal, Quebec, Canada, and this is their Péché Mortel, the Mexican-style stout variant. So they're calling this one an Imperial Stout brewed with coffee, cocoa beans, peppers, cinnamon, and vanilla beans. It comes in at 9.5% alcohol by volume, 76 IBUs at the time of review. This bottle is approximately 3 months old. So about a month ago, I reviewed the regular Péché Mortel, the classic Imperial Coffee Stout, one of the first coffee stouts I ever had in my life, and it was still just as delicious as I remember it. A little bit of age on it, but that's my preference. And then this year, they've already done their Péché Day, and what they do is they release a bunch of different variants on that day. I think this year it was February 18th or 19th. If I remember, in the description box, I'll post the date when Péché happened, Péché Day that is. But here in the Buffalo, New York area, I think there was a couple places that celebrated Péché Day and got some kegs of it, but we also got bottles. Bottles of the variant showed up. We got 3 different variants. We got this, we got the bourbon barrel aged version, and we also got a different coffee variant. So they used a different coffee instead of the regular one they use. So I picked up the base along with this. I didn't pick up the bourbon barrel aged version because I've had that one a couple times before. Now I haven't reviewed it, but I thought this would make for a better review, but maybe I'll pick that up down the line and give it a go because I love the bourbon barrel aged version of this beer, but this also sounds quite tasty. So it says complex, intense flavors brought by Ancho and Guajillo Mexican hot peppers, mild heat with a smooth finish, and I love that they list the ingredients. I wish American breweries would do this. Water, malted barley, sugar, coffee, wheat, cocoa beans, peppers, hops, cinnamon, vanilla beans, and a yeast, and it also says contains a wheat. So really excited about this one. I'm hoping it's quite delicious. Is there something in my glass there? Is that on the bottom or it's in the... No, it is. I don't know. Whatever. It's not a big deal. But yeah, so I'm really looking forward to this. I really love Mexican-style stouts. Oh, it's rising. It's rising. We got a riser. Glad I caught it before it went everywhere. That would have not been cool. Not at all. Do something like this. I won't pour the entire thing in. I'm using my Bellwoods Bring Out Your Dead glass. I just don't get a chance to use this one all that often, so I'm using it today, even though it's not really hashtag proper glass, where I don't have a Dieu du Ciel glass. So anyway, how does that look? Well, it looks pitch black. Definitely gonna look pitch black on camera, looks pitch black in person, but hold it up to the light, looks like a root beer or like a cola or something. There is a slight like light brown ruby red tinge at the bottom. Has about a half a finger of a creamy mocha colored head. Yeah, it's looking beautiful. There's legs everywhere. When I swirl it, definitely a bigger ABV beer, so let's get a nose. Oh, that smells heavenly. Yeah, so what I love about Mexican style stouts is that, I don't know, the mixture of like that mocha from the coffee and chocolate intertwined with vanilla, but then cinnamon, and then you get the peppers. It smells fantastic. I like Mexican chocolate that has the peppers and everything in it, and I feel like that's what this is replicating in beer form. So I definitely get the peppers. There's this earthy kind of, peppery kind of twinge to it. It has a very slight, like you can tell it's going to have a little bit of heat to it, but not overly done. But then I get a beautiful mixture of cinnamon, vanilla, and that mocha, and it's just beautiful. It's like someone had like a, again, Mexican chocolate, and, you're going up to take a bite of the bar or the piece, and just as you, bring it to your mouth. But I'm bringing it to my nose here. It doesn't smell boozy. It smells rich, complex. There's a nice roasted malt character from the base beer. What I love is that while the coffee doesn't take a complete backseat, it's not as noticeable as the regular beer, which is nice, but it's still noticeable. There's a little bit of like a fruity character. Could be coming from the coffee, could be coming from the peppers. There's this nice like almost berry kind of nose, maybe a slight citrus tinge. There's also a little bit of like a molasses, like slight umami flavors or aromas. It smells really, really good. I want to get into it. Cheers, everyone. Ooh. What I'll say about this one right off the get-go, this is one of the more subtle Mexican-style stouts I've had, especially Imperial Stouts. You're talking 9.5%. And what I love is not like overly sweet. And the peppers, very slight. I would say after that first sip, we'll see if it builds, but the first sip, slightly disappointing on the heat from the peppers because it's very, very slight. Very slight. Buying this one a little bit thin. I say higher side of medium as opposed to like lower side of full. So a bit thin at 9.5%. I'd like to see this a little thicker. The mouthfeel, it's soft, which is nice. Has decent carbonation, but definitely softer. Smooth and creamy. So body's a little bit disappointing. The mouthfeel makes up for it though, so kind of evens it out. The taste, right at the forefront, it's roasted, almost charred kind of malt sensation. As it passes through, I get that mocha. It's coffee, it's chocolate. And the coffee and chocolate for me turn into that mocha vibe, but it kind of dissipates pretty quickly. And then what happens is instead of mocha, it turns into more straight on like coffee, like a medium to like dark roasted coffee. It continues on. You get hints of vanilla, hints of the cinnamon and the pepper, pretty much halfway through the palate. On the back of the palate, there's a finish of a semi-dry finish, but this is like moderately to maybe like a touch over moderately bitter. It has a still like, again, and this is the one reason why I feel like this beer for me fresh, I think the coffee's a little bit too like forward. Here's the thing though, I don't think the coffee's too forward here. Whatever hops they're using in this, it's finishing with like a moderate hoppy kind of finish. It's earthy. It's almost like floral. And I don't really want that. And that's what I'm getting right now. So like I enjoyed the first couple sips, but now it's starting to go a little bit sideways for me. As I keep on taking a little bit more, taking more sips, I think that earthiness is the peppers combined with the hop character. Because I think I'm getting like this green, earthy kind of bitterness. Could be from the coffee, could be from the peppers, could be from the hops. But that's, I think, what's kind of hit me. What this beer lacks for me right now, it's one word: sweetness. Like more sweetness to this beer would balance out all those flavors. It's not harsh or astringent. It's just there's too much of that hop character, too much of the earthy kind of pepper character, too much of the coffee, not enough of the chocolate. There's not enough of the cinnamon and the vanilla. I think it's not as balanced as I'd like it to be. Pouring the rest here, see. Now I'm starting to get a slight touch of heat now. We maybe half dozen sips now. Now I'm starting to get a little bit, just a very like slight heat. Back of the throat, very slight heat. But for the most part, there isn't a lot of heat here. I'm gonna take one more sip and then I think I'm gonna lock it in. Rating, that is. I will say, the 9.5% hitting pretty well. I think this beer drinks, from a body standpoint, like 8. And I think from the alcohol, it drinks around 8, 8.5. So not 9.5. So I think there's pros and cons to this one. Pros, the mouthfeel is fantastic. It hides the alcohol quite well. And I think they have a really good start to this beer. Like, I don't know if they've released this in the past. I'd assume they have. I just feel for this style specifically, I think it's too bitter, too earthy, and not enough sweetness. And I'm not somebody who needs a lot of sweetness in beers, but with a beer like this, I want balance. I think it's a little unbalanced as I drink this one right now. So those are the pros. And again, the cons, it's a bit thin body-wise. There's not enough chocolate. There's not enough vanilla, not enough cinnamon, not enough sweetness. And that's pretty much my main issue with this one. It's not bad. Definitely enjoy the base beer way more. The bourbon barrel aged beer, I enjoy way more. I've had other variants on. I went to Péché Day back at the Thin Man Brewery here in Buffalo. I want to say back in 2017, 18, something like that, maybe 16. It was definitely back in like the mid to late 2010s. And I had a bunch of different variants, and most of the variants were pretty good. And I can't remember if any of them were. I think this might be the worst variant I've had. Is pretty much what I'm saying. It's not like bad or terrible. It's just it's a little bit unbalanced for what I'm personally looking for. So I will say this: if you've had this one before, post in the comment section. Let me know what you think about it. If you've had this year's vintage of it, this year's release, what did you think? For me, I just, again, want more sweetness. I want more richness. I want more overall character to the beer that isn't that earthy kind of bittering hop, bittering coffee, bittering, pepper characteristic. I think I want a little bit more sweetness. And I think this would be a fantastic beer. But as is, Péché Mortel, the Mexican-style stout. This is, and I forgot to mention at the beginning, but this is the 2023 release. I have no issues whatsoever in giving this beer. I'm going to give this a low 3.75. I'll go 3.7 out of 5. That's the best I can do with this one. I was hoping for a much better beer to my palate, but you got to keep it 100. Again, this is not a bad beer at all. Dieu du Ciel brews some fantastic beers. Just, it's a personal preference. Now, if you like bittering, kind of earthy beers, then this is your jam. You'll probably love this. For me, a little bit more sweetness, and I think we got a winner here. Price point and availability. Availability, I have no idea. I just know I saw it here in the West New York area. If you do get Dieu du Ciel beers, and you are in the U.S., let me know if you saw this one show up, whether it's this year or prior years. I'd be curious. Price point, this was $18 a 4-pack in my neck of the woods. I think I paid like $4.69 for that bottle because I bought an individual bottle. Not a bad price point for something 9.5% with all of those different adjuncts and ingredients. So anyway, I'm starting to feel it. Like I drank like half the bottle. I'm starting to feel I can't even speak, but you guys know I can't speak in general. I appreciate everybody stopping by for another beer review here on the Beer Patrol. Like I said, if you've had this one before, post in the comment section. I really want to hear from you and what your opinions are on this beer. And yeah, we'll see if I pick up the bourbon barrel aged version at some point down the line. I'm thinking I will, but maybe I'll wait like a good 2, 3, 4 months because I just drank this and the base one within a month of one another. So maybe we'll wait until like the middle of summer, maybe late summer or something like that. Assuming there's still bottles, maybe I'll buy a bottle and just throw it in my darker beer fridge and let it age for a while. Anyway, appreciate everybody's time. Bye for another beer review here on the Beer Patrol. Till the next one. Cheers.